In Illustrator, layers is our way of staying organized with a more complex drawing. As you can see, we start off with one layer. If I want to create a new layer, I hit the New Layer button located down here. Now that I have that new layer made, I can take and start doing artwork on it. Normally I take and do one color per layer, or one larger object per layer. So if I wanted to draw the sky on this little grass background that I have, I could click and drag, and because layer 2 was selected, that blue sky goes onto layer 2. Now right now my blue sky is covering up part of my green grass. So normally in the past we used to go Object Arrange, Send to Back. Okay, that doesn't work because we have these two objects on separate layers. So you got to think of them as sort of separate sheets of paper that you're drawing on. If we want to take and move the blue sky to the background, we need to physically take this layer of this sheet of paper and drag it down below the other layer. If I wanted to get rid of a layer, right next to my New Layer button, I have my Delete layer. If there's stuff on it, it's going to ask you if you want to take and actually delete that artwork. So if I was to hit yes, it would delete that artwork along with the layer. Now, part of staying organized is actually renaming our layers so we know what's on them. So I can come over to layer 2 right here, and if I double click on the name, my layer options opens up. And right here I could take the name and call it whatever I want to. I'm going to do the same with my other layer because we want to stay as organized as possible. I'm going to make one new layer right here and make a really cheesy sun. Now, some of the other things that you could do with layers is if we take and look at the eyeball right here, that's going to toggle the visibility. It's going to basically hide or show what is ever on that layer. So if I wanted to work specifically with my sun layer right here, I could hide my grass and my sky layer, and I could come in here and work specifically with my yellow layer while having the other objects hidden. When they're hidden, they're not selectable. If I wanted to take and lock my sun layer next to the eyeball, I could toggle on the lock. When that lock is toggled, if I was to take and try and draw on there, I can't draw. So it locks the editability of it. I can't even come in here and select anything. Okay, so I'm selecting the blue sky because my yellow layer is locked. So everything gets locked and nothing is editable. My last option over here is my little circle. The circle selects everything that's on a specific layer. So if I was trying to grab everything on the sun layer, coming in here and grabbing these lines individually is a bit of a pain. I can take and if I hit the little circle, anything that's on that layer becomes selected. And now it makes it really easy to move around or place where I need it to be. A lot of these options, when you double click, are also in your layer options. So where I could take and change the name of it, I can also take and lock it, show it or hide it, and then this preview takes and turns it to outline mode also. If I wanted to take and click on the eyeball to turn into outline mode, I would hold Command and click on the eyeball. Now, in the layers options, we have a color right here. Okay, this color doesn't respond to the color of your actual object at all. If I always had my pen tool and I was to come in here and I was to start drawing, my line work right now is yellow. Okay, the color that is in here responds to the handles and the anchor points. So right now those handles and anchor points are yellow, so they're very difficult to see. If I was to take and change the color, I'm changing the color of the actual handles and anchor points. So when I hit OK now, because they're blue, they're much more visible. So if you're working with yellow, You wouldn't want to have yellow as your color of choice in the layer options because it's more difficult to see and to work with. If I'm taking and moving my layers around, I need to be sure that when I'm clicking on my layer, I'm taking and dragging it in between my other layers. If I was to take and drag it on top of, it's going to create something called sublayers. And we'll deal with sublayers later on, but you want to try and stay away from that now. If you do take and create a sublayer like this, you can very easily take that layer that you had, drag it back out of that sublayer, and it goes back to being normal.